I'm Quentin Judge from Double H Farm. I'm going to go through a little bit our normal daily routine on feeding horses. One thing we always do is cook flaxseed every day for the horses because it's something that's a little bit old school and not everybody does it. I started doing it when I was working with racehorses in Maryland, and they always cook flaxseed in a big container every day. I think it's really good on a basic level. It makes horses look good and makes them look shiny. One pet peeve I have is when horses buckets at the end of the day have like a little bit of supplements and powder in the bottom. So this seems to really help kind of bind everything together. We've gone through a lot of different grains. I'm really interested in horse nutrition. And I think that today with sport horses, there's a lot of kind of unknown. And I started getting into it because we had a horse about 8-9 years ago that was a new horse, had a stomach full of ulcers. Like, we worked with our vet, Dr. Tim Ober, to kind of figure out what we could give this horse. So we've kind of gone through for the approach of trying to feed the horses really what they need, don't give them what they don't need, and supplement as necessary, not just kind of blanket. With that said, the grain that we feed is called Crypto Arrow. We've started feeding this about 3 or 4 months ago, and it's a really basic grain. I'd say its amount of ingredients like whole oats, flaxseed, green peas, there's papaya, there's fenugreek. There's a couple interesting things you wouldn't see in normal horse feed, but all the science behind all of it is really well documented, and you can read it all and kind of see you're giving a horse peas because it's a really great source of protein, and it's not, you don't have to give a lot of it. So most of our horses eat 3 to 4 quarts of grain a day. All our horses eat 3 times a day. I think it's a lot better to give horses smaller amounts of grain multiple times a day than twice a day, like a big couple scoops of it. And we, as far as the supplements, keep it really simple. One thing that we've started in the last 6 months is this called Ulcer Eraser, which is from a company called Equine Elixirs. I think ulcers in sport horses is really a prevalent thing. I think one thing that people maybe don't realize is horses can really heal their own stomachs and keep themselves ulcer-free, but they have to be salivating a lot, and that's from eating a lot of grain, a lot of forage and roughage. Like the mucosa is what really coats their stomach. And that's the kind of the best thing for a horse's stomach. So feed more hay, because horses in the wild that are walking around eating grass all day probably very rarely have any ulcers. This supplement, Ulcer Eraser, is all natural, both the grain and the supplements, all natural. It's GMO free, the grain's soy and wheat free. And this is kind of a whole proprietary blend of proteins, lysine, pumpkin seed that have been found to really help coat the horse's stomach and kind of prevent ulcers from happening and keep the horse on a more healthy track. So it's good for hindgut, foregut, all kinds of things. The other thing we feed every horse is a probiotic once a day. Just like in people, I think probiotics are really important. And again, these horses are eating a lot of things that maybe naturally they wouldn't. So we try to help them digest the best we can. This is a really easy brand that we like to use. It comes in a little packet. They all eat it once a day. So that's the Equiotic. The last thing we give all the horses is Crypto Arrow Plus. That's kind of a whole multivitamin, helps with hoof growth, bone density, capillary refill. It's like there's a lot of research you can read about it. It's also like all organic, GMO free. In my mind, a multivitamin is important for a horse because we're asking them to do extra than what they normally would do. So I give it to all the horses also. There's no artificial ingredients in it. The last thing, 2 things we give all our horses is an oil. I like this oil because it's a pumpkin seed based oil. It's really good for omega-3s. I think it helps their skin, helps their joints, their coat. They eat it really well. I give it to the horses 2 pumps once a day. I think gastric support helps with inflammation and all around. I'm a stickler on the grain being really mixed and not having clumps of things in there. So once I give them the flaxseed, we mix everything up really well with carrots. It's not these big deposits of supplements anywhere. So that's it. We also give our horses a lot, probably too many treats. And for somebody that likes to give their horses a lot of treats, we really like to give them kind of as healthy a treat as we can. So we started giving Enjoy Yums, which is a really nice company that they make like all natural, no fillers, no sugar, really good treats. The horses love them. Actually, this horse, Conrad, doesn't really like treats at all, and I had a really hard time getting him to find something that he would eat, and he absolutely loves them. So that's how I started using them, and now we all have them. And also the dogs really love them.